This tutorial will talk about open access publishing and the different types of open access publishing that you will come across. By definition, open access is the free, immediate, online availability of research articles, coupled with the rights to use those articles fully in the digital environment. Open access literature also can be defined as digital, online, free of charge, and free of most copyright and licensing restrictions. What makes it possible is the internet and the consent of the author or copyright holder. And plus, the Public Library of Science defines open access as simply OA stands for the unrestricted access and unrestricted reuse. A couple benefits of open access publishing include things like reducing disparities to access. This is particularly important for community organizations, nonprofits, public health departments, and non-academic citizens to give them access to academic information and scholarly publishing. It increases the exposure to your work. For example, over 14 million people accessed the directory of open access journals in 2019. It also increases citations for authors as a result of this increased exposure. So the percentage of increase differs by publication type, but can be anywhere between 8% and 40%. Lastly, it speeds up the dissemination timeline. So for articles that now aren't sitting behind a paywall because they are open access, it allows people to read your work sooner and cite it more. There are two main types of open access. So gold open access refers to publishing in open access journals, whereas green refers to self-archiving or the publishing of preprints of a scholarly article. A little bit more information. So gold, the publisher makes the content freely available either on their website or through an aggregator like the Directory of Open Access Journals. The cost for publishing is covered by system advertising, sponsorship, and/or author fees. So sometimes you might see that an open access journal or an issue of a journal that is being published open access will ask the authors to pay fees in order to publish in that open access issue. That's to make it freely available for everybody else, so the authors then take on that financial burden instead of the user taking on the financial burden of paying for access to the journal. On the other hand, green open access, the publisher retains the final article behind a paywall, but allows for self-archiving or publishing of preprints. Authors then can place those preprints or publications in an institutional repository, like the one we have at the Health Sciences and Human Services Library called the UMB Digital Archive, or in a subject-specific archive. For example, sociology uses SocArchive as a standard for the subject area. One other thing to be aware of in terms of open access publishing is copyright. So copyright and reuse. Gratis OA means that it's free to read, but it does not grant the rights to reuse, distribute, or modify the work beyond fair use. Fair use is mostly educational in nature, is the way that we would see it used in higher ed here. But you cannot otherwise change it or add to it commercially, redistribute it broadly, that kind of thing. Libra OA, on the other hand, is free access as well, as readers can reuse and remix the research via a Creative Commons license. So Creative Commons licenses make it more clear what you can do with the material. So Creative Commons is a nonprofit organization that provides licenses and public domain tools that give every person and organization in the world a free, simple, and standardized way to grant copyright permissions for creative and academic works, ensure proper attribution, and allow others to copy, distribute, and make use of those works. Creative Commons provides templates for licenses that authors and creators can use to share their work in any way that they see fit. And it supports and maintains tools like Wikimedia for people to search and freely use content. Couple examples of Creative Commons licenses. You can walk through their website and choose whatever type of license makes sense for you, and they have these sort of flow charts to help you decide how you want to use a Creative Commons license for your situation. For further information, you can see our webpage on open access at the library's website. So it's www.hshsl.umaryland.edu/open access.